The sound hit the cul-de-sac like metal being peeled open. A toe strap bit under the nose of a pearl-white Lamborghini. The front splitter exploded. Sparks streaked down the driveway as the car lurched sideways. Beside the truck, Linda Carver stood in her HOA visor, waving for a harder pull. By the time Evan Mercer saw the live camera alert on his phone, his $300,000 car was already folding into the concrete. He made it home just in time to watch the second pull finish the damage. Evan Mercer had spent 12 years building Mercer restorations from a cramped two-bay garage into one of the best exotic repair shops in the county. He was not flashy. He was precise, quiet. The kind of man who noticed a half-millimeter panel gap from across a room. The Lamborghini was not some random luxury purchase. It was the reward at the end of a brutal decade of loan payments, weekend work, and nights that bled into sunrise. He bought a house in Willowbrook Estates because it looked orderly in the comforting way. Clean sidewalks, trim hedges, predictable rules, no chaos. He kept the car spotless. He drove it gently. He almost never left it outside overnight. Then Linda noticed it. Linda Carver ran the HOA like it was a private court. Every flower bed had to match. Every trash can had to disappear on schedule. She liked property values, but only when wealth looked quiet, approved, and familiar. Evan's low, pearl-white Lamborghini did not fit her picture. From the moment it appeared in his driveway, the neighborhood stopped feeling like home and started feeling like a place where someone was always watching. The first notice appeared under his wiper after a grocery run. It claimed he was storing a commercial vehicle in public view, even though the car had private registration, private insurance, and no markings of any kind. 2 days later, a second notice accused the vehicle of creating an eyesore and reflecting excessive sunlight into nearby homes. Before the appeal deadline even passed, Linda added late fees. Evan did not argue on the sidewalk. He answered with documents. He emailed the board. He attached photos of the bylaws. He highlighted the sections that said nothing about sports cars, driveway parking, color, or value. The board never gave him a real response. Instead, the fine doubled. A blurry photo of his car showed up on the community app next to a post about preserving neighborhood character. It was not about rules. It was personal. After that, the harassment became organized. Packages for Evan's house started getting flagged at the gate. A friend who parked legally for dinner came back outside to a tow warning slapped on the windshield. Noise complaints appeared on mornings when Evan had not even started the engine. One afternoon, someone spread gravel along the edge of his driveway, then photographed the tire marks as if he had damaged common landscaping. Every trail led back to Linda. She walked the neighborhood with a clipboard and a fixed smile. She took photos from the sidewalk. She spoke to neighbors in little huddles that went quiet when Evan passed. Soon the rumors started moving faster than the violation notices. Some residents believed he rented the car to strangers. Others thought he was running a business from his garage. None of it was true. Evan handled it the way he handled every difficult repair. He documented everything. Dates, screenshots, security footage, copies of notices, photos of every corner of his property. Then he added 2 more cameras over the garage and one aimed straight down the driveway. A week later, he came home early and found Linda standing beside a contractor with a measuring wheel and a printed site map of his property. She looked ready for something bigger. The final notice arrived the next morning. It claimed his driveway had hazardous oil contamination and ordered immediate remediation. If the car remained during the scheduled surface treatment, it would be forcibly removed. The driveway was spotless. Evan owned a restoration shop. He could spot a stain from 10 feet away, and there was nothing there. He photographed the concrete from every angle and sent the HOA a formal demand to stop targeting him. By noon, an alert flashed across his phone. Orange cones now surrounded his driveway. A tow truck rolled in behind Linda's SUV. She stepped out with papers in one hand and pointed toward the Lamborghini with the confidence of someone who believed nobody could challenge her. The operator hesitated at the car's low front end. Linda kept signaling. Then the hook slid under the nose. Evan dropped everything, jumped in his truck, and drove home, knowing he was already too late. He turned onto his street just as the strap tightened. The first pull ripped the splitter clean off. The second dragged the Lamborghini sideways, grinding carbon fiber, aluminum, and paint across the concrete in a spray of sparks. By the time the tow operator stopped, the bumper was hanging loose. One wheel sat twisted at a sickening angle, and dark fluid streaked the same driveway Linda claimed she was protecting. Neighbors were outside now. Phones were up. So were Evan's cameras. Everything had been recorded from 3 angles, including Linda stepping onto his property, handing over a printed work order, and directing the removal herself. Police arrived within minutes. The tow operator surrendered the paperwork almost immediately. Linda had signed for the job personally and listed fake board approval on the form. A quick call to the management company confirmed it. There had been no board vote, no legal notice, no authority to enter the property at all. Then the financial reality landed. Evan's insurer sent an adjuster the same day. The underbody damage was severe, and the car's structural components had been compromised. Repairs would be massive. The diminished value alone would be devastating. The claim paid out, then immediately turned into a recovery action against Linda and the tow company. Evan's attorney added trespass, harassment, and property interference to a civil case built on months of evidence Linda never knew existed. The fallout was brutal. The HOA board removed Linda within days and blasted out a community email trying to distance itself from her actions. That did not stop the damage. Once residents saw what she had done in broad daylight, several came forward with their own stories of selective enforcement, threats, and bogus notices. Linda tried to present herself as someone defending the neighborhood. What she had actually done was expose how badly she had abused it. Her homeowner policy denied coverage because the act was intentional. The HOA insurer denied protection because she acted outside board authority. The tow company settled quickly. Linda did not. A court-ordered restitution, civil damages, and long-term payment obligations that reached years into the future. Before the year ended, her house quietly went on the market. Evan replaced the Lamborghini months later, but the bigger victory was not the car. Willowbrook rewrote its enforcement process, required transparent board votes, and stripped any single person of towing power. The neighborhood finally got quiet again, not because Linda won, but because everyone had seen what happened when one petty person believed rules were the same thing as power. And every neighbor who watched that tow strap snap tight learned the same lesson at once. A small HOA grudge can get expensive fast. Abusing authority on camera can ruin an entire life.